You know, and all through the verses. My name is Steve Porcaro. I was a founding member of Toto. I did a whole bunch of sessions in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and I'm also known for being the co-writer of the song Human Nature on Thriller. You know, with David Foster, I got to work with Alice Cooper and Earth, Wind and Fire, and David brought me into Quincy's stuff, and working with Michael Jackson and the Brothers Johnson and Donna Summer, whoever Quincy was working with, Quincy Jones himself. You know, again, I was always the synth guy. I got deep into the synth stuff, and quite often me and other keyboard players would be a good team. CS80 was the first synth I bought when Toto started. I really wanted to have something distinctive and new when the band began. At the time, I just had I had a Mini Moog, I had an Oberheim DS2 sequencer, and a synthesizer expander module for the most part. But once I heard a CS80, I had to have one. That brass sound, which has always been so important to me, from the original to the new one, boy, they sound a lot alike to me. It was used on Human Nature, the bridge of Human Nature, when it goes. During the keyboard solo to Rosanna, the bed underneath the lead solo was this sound that kind of went like this. I was in a band with a lot of guys that were just great players, and their parts and what they brought to the table came to them very fast, and I could be good at. I mean, that's why I was hired for sessions, is that I could be very fast with synthesizers, but I was always haunted by the possibilities. If I just had more time, I could do X, Y, and Z. So another way I used the CS80 on our very first album was on my song Taking It Back. And I just love the sound of these sine waves. You could bypass most of the synth engine. The sine waves would go straight to the output there. And I just added a little, I changed the footage here. We put one up a fifth, add a little portamento, and I had the beginning of Taking It Back. And I tried the same thing on here. And it works. Not only was the poly aftertouch on just the brightness and the loudness, but if you really listen closely, you could control the poly aftertouch on the amount of modulation on the LFO and on the speed. And this is on the individual keys. And we can exaggerate it here. You can hear the LFO a little bit more. Of course, I would make it much more mellow and kind of. And where a lot of this stuff may sound very subtle to most people, with synthesizers, a lot of the static sounds could just get boring after a while to the ear. And these subtle differences, every key being slightly different, really had this accumulative effect. The CS80 had not only portamento, but it had glissando. and jump up to notes like that. That was a very unique feature of the CS80. Because when I hear a sound, no matter how great it is, if I'm going to have a chance of using it in something, I usually want to get in there and have a handle on it. I want to know how do I control the speed of that LFO? How do I control that filter brightness on just this aspect of the sound? So it's never like a sample to me or just some standalone thing that I, would trigger. I usually can't help but want to get in there, and tweak. Arturia has taken things a step further, and where the CS80 was very good at controlling the keyboard, the curve of the keyboard on its different ends of the range of the keyboard, Arturia took it another level where with modulations, effects, and with keyboard itself, you're able to totally tweak your curves for velocity, for aftertouch, mod wheel, keyboard tracking, assign them to different destinations. And I've done a little bit of tweaking myself. That's just in the keyboard advanced part. There's also a whole modulation section, a whole effects section, which I'm using some of their verb and some of their delay. And let me just do a little jam with you here with a drum beat. If that was going to be my job, being the synth guy, I made a lot more out of it.